Hello everyone, I'm going to have a bit of a dive now into some of the kind of secret things that people perhaps miss about websites such as the one you'll see on the screen now from Apple, and also pop over to another one from Microsoft. A lot of people miss out on something called visual hierarchy. On a website, that is all about what people see first when they first look at your website homepage. You know, what stands out to them as the first thing they read. If we look at the likes of Apple here, I think most of us will agree the first thing that we actually saw with our eyes were the large iPhone 17 Pro words. People who visit Apple's website, you know, they know what they're there for. It's Apple. Everybody knows who they are. So they don't necessarily need to be telling us straight away what they actually do. However, they are focused 100% at the moment, given it's middle of September 2025, on the launch of their new iPhone range. And obviously the iPhone Pro is their top of the model range. You know, that's the one they want to push. And that's what they've landed on there. Big letters, you see that straight away. You know exactly what it is. If you know about Apple, you know the 17 is the latest one for this year. However, what I'm looking at really is the shape and the layout of the top of this page. So if you look at that in terms of the way your eyes are drawn down, although this is going to make no sense because I'm pointing with my eyes and my mouse, you've got an arrow shape. Your eyes are arrowed down through this text. iPhone 17 Pro large, All Out Pro small, and they're pointing to the call to action buttons of learn more and buy. So they're kind of hiddenly guiding your thought process and your action process to what they want you to do when you land on their website, which is prominently learn more about the iPhone 17 Pro, secondary call to action, which is a little bit darker with a black background rather than the blue, to buy one. And then it kind of curves back out around again, around the phone, to guide your eyes further down the page to the next section, which is the iPhone Air. And again, they've followed that same concept of your eyes are guided around the text, back down to the middle underneath where the buttons again, learn more or buy, and then back out for the width again to the phone. Obviously for this one, they're kind of prioritizing the slimness, the thinness of this new iPhone Air. And again, all the way down the page, you follow the same pattern. The content is pointing to the call to action buttons, pointing and guiding your eye around the text widths and shapes to the buttons for those ones. And as you get further down the page, you're still following the same concept. However, obviously, these are slightly less priority, perhaps, in terms of their marketing. So that's why they split across the width two ways. But they're always following the same concept of guiding the eyes around the text with the visual hierarchy of the large font, slightly smaller than the prominently coloured buttons. Again, no changes. They're always blue, always prominent, always constant across the site. Further down, they've slightly twisted it. So this time they've landed on the watch picture, which shape-wise guides you around the outside, straight back into the text beneath it and the buttons. The Ultra 3, same concept, pointing down towards the call to action buttons. Have a look at this yourself. See if you can find this on any websites that you visit. I suspect the leaders out there, the big ones, will be doing this. Some of them won't be, and a lot of people are going to miss it. Microsoft, again, slightly less clear, but they are doing a similar thing. You know, you've got your Meet the Surface, the new Surface PCs at the top as their headline. That's what they wanted to know about. The width of the next text is bigger, but it guides you round that one and then back to the two photos beneath of the two Surface laptops and PCs they've got. No call to action buttons this time, which is quite interesting for Microsoft to see. They're actually still wanting to go down the page further to then either view the Surface Pro, which is the tablet and 2-in-1, or the laptop split. And again, your eyes are guided around underneath to the wording, and then again round and back into a narrower call to action, which this time is a text link with a little arrow icon rather than the button. Slightly less prominent, but again, blue seems to be a popular colour for that. You know, they've got a different colour from the main body and a consistent style for that link on those sections. We're beginning to approach this now. It's something I picked up on from a video I watched on YouTube myself recently. I've brought this back into my own website as an initial priority. I've got the text guiding you round the images, and then my two, which were always blue, call to action buttons underneath of it. There's a lot more to this than that one. I've seen some examples of designs where the weave and the way that if there's a picture of a person in the top of the page, in the hero section at the top, that person's eye line is looking at the call to action buttons. the text, even if it's on the left hand side, is shaped to draw an arrow and point to the buttons that you want people to click on and the actions that you want them to take through your website. So this is the type of thing that we're looking at on any new website going forward, to kind of optimize the visual hierarchy, to optimize the user journey, but also to optimize the clicks and the conversions. Because if people aren't on your website and they don't know what to do, you're going to lose them. If you can use everything at your disposal that we can guide you on to make sure that people are really clearly know what you want them to do without thinking, they will take those actions a lot more prominently. So this is a little bit of a short video for me to talk about how that visual hierarchy works beyond just looking at the size and placement of things. It's looking as well at the shaping of it all, guiding the eye through your content and to the places you want them to see. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that one. It's something I don't see many people talk about. In fact, I've seen one person talk about it online in recent months, and that's what triggered me to look into it a little bit more and just understand the likes of, what are Apple doing? How is it working for them? What are the big boys playing at that, I can bring to your website now as a client to ensure that you benefit from the same things that these guys are, they're not doing this for testing. They know this works, and they know that this is a great way to get people to take action on their website. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Are you aware of this? Have you seen it before? Are you doing it already? I'd love to hear from you and look forward to those comments.